Do you know the word integrity?
Yes, I know the word.
How would you describe integrity for someone who doesn't know the word?
Well, I tell you how I describe it for myself. I don't know if it's helpful for somebody else, but for me, integrity is being in alignment with myself. To be in alignment with my authentic self. So again, you have more words without definitions. You know, what's self, what's an authentic self. But for me, the meaning is clear. It's not always so easy to adhere to it, but the idea of being aligned, I think, is critical in so many things, and I think forms the basis of integrity.
How important is integrity for you on your personal scale of values? Maybe you can give it even a number between 1 and 10.
Okay, whoa. Between 1 and 10. I would say somewhere between 1 and 10.
At least.
Yeah. It's important. It's important to me, and it's important to the people that I relate to, that I am close to, that I work with. Because also, if they're in their own integrity, in their own alignment, then our aligned parts can meet. And then I think that's the power of alignment.
Is there somebody especially of integrity for you, a person you know, and what for?
Of integrity? That is a really good question. I think of someone like Nelson Mandela. I think he was really, really in alignment with himself and alignment with very important values, because again, you have to be aligned to something. So for me, he's an example. I've barely met, but I have found that Thich Nhat Hanh was very much in alignment with himself and alignment with his followers and his readers. And there are other people too, of course, you know, great religious, I think in many ways.
These are two.
Yeah, there are two people that really stand out. I mean, some people are in alignment in some ways, but not in other ways. I think of Albert Einstein. In some ways, he was very aligned to his self, to his mission, but really not very well aligned in his personal relationships.
How of integrity do you perceive yourself? Maybe also with a number between 1 and 10?
Yeah, between 1 and 10. It depends.
It depends.
I mean, sometimes I find I'm really in alignment with myself. And it's difficult. I think people should understand that. To be in integrity, to be in alignment with oneself, it really takes a lot of practice, a lot of commitment. And it's not so easy. And we also have to acknowledge when we're not in alignment and we're not in alignment with other people. And so then what do? How do we negotiate that?
Do you think that integrity is important if you think of the challenges that we just face in the world?
Oh, I think it's essential. I mean, everything, you know, gets crappy when people aren't in alignment. It's, I mean, if you want examples of not being in alignment, just turn on the news channel, the BBC or the CNN, you know.
There are examples.
Many very good examples, right?
Yeah.
Examples, yeah.
Yeah. Does the society you live in allows you to live in integrity?
That's a good question. That's a good question. You know, I mean, I have experience in being in different countries. I don't really know any societies that really have that kind of integrity. They're different, you know. In the United States, many people are not in alignment. And part of that is because you have a government that's not in alignment. And so that permeates, you know, the society itself. Being not in integrity affects all of the members of the society. Yeah.
So it also affects you?
It affects me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, here in Switzerland, you know, things, and of course, they're all comparative, but there's a lot of rigidity of bureaucracy. But there's a certain stability and a certain commitment to work things out. My understanding is that the parliament picks these 7 people, and that when there's an issue, they come together and they try to work it out. To me, that's a good form of government. That's what government should be doing. You know, and there are very few places where that's the case. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm attracted to spend more and more time in Switzerland and teaching in Switzerland.
What do you think would be possible if the level of integrity would rise significantly on the whole planet?
Right. Well, the whole planet. It would be a very different planet, you know. People would care for others. I think it was Martin Luther King wrote once that all others' needs and values have to be equal for us. If we want a good balance in the world, we have to also provide others with that balance. So again, Martin Luther King was certainly a person who was in many ways in integrity and again, when you hear people like that, you know, those 3 people, for example, and they're very different, especially different than, say, Thich Nhat Hanh or the Dalai Lama or some of the real authentic spiritual teachers. I mean, even to some degree, the Pope, you know, more than many other people in that position, he's in this really a higher level of integrity.
So you mean you can sense that a person is in a higher level?
And in order to sense that, we have to have our own integrity and our own, you know, connection, or we don't know it, we don't see it. So if you see it, that means you have it. Yeah.
What are, from your specific point of view, maybe as developer of somatic experiencing, are the essential ingredients for integrity building?
Respect. That's primary. I mean, I work with over my career, I've worked with tens of thousands of people. And I don't always do this, but when I'm at my best, I really meet them where they are without me judging. You know, and in a way, working with people and, you know, working in my teaching, it gives me the opportunity always to say, okay, how can I really connect with this person in an authentic level? In other words, 2 people aligned with themselves, aligned with each other.
So respect.
Respect is essential. Self-respect, but especially respect for others.
How does shame interfere with integrity?
Well, shame, chronic shame, interferes with everything. I mean, there's healthy shame, which is in alignment. So if I do something to you that was not good and that hurt you, it's healthy for me to feel shame and for me to listen to you and apologize. But shame, when it becomes chronic, that's all people have. Nothing. Their growth is deadened with shame. Is just immobilized. So we have to differentiate again between healthy shame and chronic shame and humiliation, which is what unfortunately many parents and teachers do to children, which takes the life energy out of them.
Peter, what are your associations if you hear the word soul integrity? Do you have any associations?
Well, you know, we actually did a trauma talk on this.
On soul integrity?
On soul.
On soul. Okay.
What is soul? Soul in psychotherapy. And, we know soul when we hear it, for example. If you hear Mahalia Jackson or Aretha Franklin or so many musicians, you hear them, you see them, and you know they have soul. And I think we also know when we are not open to our soul. And again, soul comes from this alignment with this authentic part of ourselves, this part which is untouched and pure. And it burns like a flickering flame that never goes out. It gets dim sometimes, and we have to listen to it carefully. But then it becomes brighter again.
What do you know about the dark night of the soul?
The dark night of the soul. I think there's a mistake, a misconstrued that people make. There is, of course, and you see it in Christian theology especially, where we go enter into these dark places, but that there's somebody there to guide us. Though I walk through the shadow of death, thy will be with me. In many religions you have something like that. And so you don't go into it alone. When I work with people, it's important that because the pain is so deep that they don't be alone, they don't feel alone. Maybe if I think about it this way, it's not, because again my work is with trauma, it's not so much or just what happened to us that really makes the difference. What makes the difference is what happens to us in the absence of the present, connected, empathetic other. And this we can provide to, as therapists, to our clients when we're in line with ourselves.
Peter, you often say that trauma is a fact of life.
Yes.
Could it be that it is even a condition for life?
I think that's well said. I think it could be a condition for life. The birth process itself, it can be very powerful and can be both painful and, and life promoting. I met once this Hasidic scholar. I think his name was Rabbi Ginsburg. And we were talking about things like this. And he said, yes, people are still working with the trauma of the Big Bang. And there's truth to that, because everything that's happened in the planet at all times, it comes through us if we are open to those channels. Wow, feel that energy.
Yeah,
from
the sound comes in, the waves come in, yes.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a Big Bang.
We can still experience it,
Really
or
feel
do.
it.
Still do. Is there anything you would like to add that was not covered by the questions in terms of integrity?
Yeah, I think, the more people that take integrity seriously, the better it will be for all of us. Okay?
Thank you very
Sure.
much, Peter.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.